Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and to part 2 of the DIY dollhouse furniture. I'm getting started right away right here with making the beds. These are the double beds that I'm creating 2 of because there, as I mentioned previously, there are 6 in this family. There are 2 couples, so of grandparents and then parents, and 1 bed is for each of them. And then these are the 2 for the 2 kids. So I'm just tracing these out with the stencils that I already created. And then I cut down these sizes using my miter saw. Now I'm just gluing on some wooden beads to create the legs for the beds, the 2 bigger ones. And I'm going to be doing the same thing for the 2 smaller beds, but just using the next size down of beads. And these wooden beads came from Amazon. I will link them below in case you're interested. They come in assorted sizes for about $13, which is excellent. I use these all the time. So here are the 2, we'll call them twin size beds. And I'm just going to show you how I'm making like a mattress look. So I have this thick fabric. It's very soft and fluffy. And I'm just cutting out the shape and cutting that to the exact size of that little wooden board. And then I'm just going to flip that over and place another piece over that. This one is going to be a little bit bigger than the bed itself because I'm going to glue this one down to the edges just to give it a little bit of thickness. And I'm gluing it right to the edge all the way around. And of course, gonna have to trim those sides down to make it for almost like wrapping a present, just keeping all the edges smooth and making sure the corners are smooth also. And once all the corner pieces are snipped off, just cutting away any excess. And here is the final result. So as I said, I repeated this step 3 more times to create 4 beds total, 2 double and 2 twin. And then I got some fabric and I'm using this to use as like a blanket. So this is going to be for the parents, this is for the daughter, this one is for the son, and this last one is for the grandparents. Now I'm going to be working on the dressers and the end tables. So I already have the stencil cut out for the size that I need the dressers to be. So I'm making 3 of the same exact dresser. I'm just going to cut that board and I'm making 5 end tables. So I have the size that I want and I'm cutting those down. So I'm just showing how I make the dresser and 1 end table because I make them all the same. I cut these craft sticks down to this size and this is going to be like the drawers on the dressers. I'm doing 3 on each side. 6 total on here and then 2 on the end table. So I'm just going to glue these on. And I'm just using the smallest wooden bead to be the knob on each of these drawers. And here's how the end table is looking. And doing the same thing for the dresser. And now I want to do something to make the tops look a little bit better. So I have these little wooden boards from this little kit here, and I'm cutting these down to size, and I'm going to glue these to the top of the end table. And then I just had these wooden paint stir sticks, and I'm cutting those down and gluing them to the top of each dresser. And here I'm just showing how I glued on the little wooden board for the end tables also. And this is the final result. I ended up leaving these just like this. I didn't know if I wanted to paint them, but for now they're just going to stay this natural color. And this is all the dressers and the 5 end tables. Now going straight into the bathroom pieces, this is going to be the tub where I need to carve into that piece of wood This is going to be for the double sinks, and this is going to be the toilet. I've already marked off where the lid is going to be. I'm just going to cut this down and use that bar for that. So I'm starting with the sink, and this is the block I'm using. I cut off the bottom because I thought the sink was going to be a little too high, and I'm using these popsicle sticks to create double sinks. So I cut them down to the size that I needed, and I'm just gluing them together to create a rectangle. And this is how that's looking. And I'm just going to repeat this step until I have 2 sinks. And I'll glue them in place right here next to each other. And here's the tub piece. The outline that I had drawn on this block of wood, I just used that to create this indentation. So I'm just going to use this spackling to cover over all those holes and jagged pieces of wood. Here's how it's looking with the spackle has had a chance to dry. I'm just going to show real quick how I was able to get this dug out. I'm just going to document that part. And then that also explains how I made this little thing. The tools, one of the tools I used for this, I also use for this, which is kind of obvious now. It's one of those drills with the side pieces that allow you to bore into the wood. I'm just going to show that really quick. And then here's the sink. So as I was trying to demonstrate in the video, I had cut this bottom part off, and then I glued the sticks together to make sinks. And then I'll just add the faucets. The tools that I've been using throughout this project include this miter saw, and then I've also been using a jigsaw. I've also been using this tool here, multi-tool. This is the battery pack that goes on it, and this is the tool I've used to cut a lot of the pieces to make the doorways, the windows, and also to make some of the other little cuts that I needed to do. This helped me to make the tub. I just cut the lines around the tub, and then I use this drill here. I use this piece on the drill. It's a 1-inch thing, and then I just drill straight down all over in the tub. But I also use this to make the little hole for the toilet. And then for the tub, I also use this flathead screwdriver and a mallet to bang out the rest of the little wood, to kind of chisel it out, and then that created that little indented part. Here's the sink. After I painted it white, I drilled holes here to make it look like there were drain holes in it. I realized the sink was too low, so I'm just adding another piece of wood to the bottom, and this is going to be the perfect height now. So I'm just going to proceed with that piece by adding some contact paper to make it look like a countertop, and then I'll add on some faucets. And this is what I'm using, these skewers. I'm just going to cut down the pieces that I need, and this will be 2 faucets. So here are the pieces. So I'm just going to glue these 2 pieces together. And I'm going to use these little wooden boards again to make it look like there are drawers on this. And I'm going to use this craft stick to create the look of a long drawer above those. And I'm painting over the lower half of the sink with acrylic paint in the color Dolphin. And then I'm adding those small wooden beads again for the drawers. And here's how that looks. So the last thing I'm going to do is just glue on these faucets. Just assembling this first one and gluing it to the back of the sink here. and then adding the second one. And here's the final result. And then for the toilet part, I needed to have something for the lid to stand on and to press against the wall once it's in place. So I'm just gluing together 4 of these tumbling tower blocks, and I'm going to paint these white and then glue them onto the back of the little toilet piece so that it can sit properly. So it'll go right back here, and this is how it'll hold up better when this is lifted up. And now moving on to the shower part, this is going to be the actual shower walls, and they're going to have this marble contact paper covering them. So I'm just covering each board separately and using some duct tape in the back where you're not going to be able to see. This side is going to hold the shower part and the shower controls, and the other piece is just going to be part of the wall. So here I have those 2 pieces. I'm just going to attach them together. And this is how it's going to sit. And now those 2 pieces are glued and the glue is dry. This is how everything is looking in the back, just to give you an idea of how I put it together. And now I'm just gluing the tub right into that little space. And this is how that's looking. And next I'm using a cut down wooden dowel and another cut down piece of a skewer, and I'm gluing those together, and this is going to be like the shower head. And this is how it looks. And now I'm taking a wooden bead from the same package from Amazon. This one has different sides to it, and I'm gluing that to that wall. And then this shower head fits right into that little hole, so it's like a removable piece. And then again using those small wooden beads to act as the hot and cold knobs. And this is the final result. And now for the shower curtain, this is the final piece to the bathroom. I'm just using a wooden dowel, and then I'm going to wrap over this fabric and glue it down. And that is the shower curtain all done. Now I'm going to show really quickly how I created the ladders. Using these craft sticks, I have these large wooden dowels. These are pretty long, but I had to make them a little bit longer. So I'm cutting off the ends of one dowel, and I'm going to glue this to the end of another one, just to give it a little bit of length, and I'm going to do this 2 times. My original plan was to try to make staircases in the dollhouse, but there wasn't enough room for the dining room table, so I figured just make ladders. So this is the first piece, and here is the second one. And once I had the 2 pieces, I took the shorter little wooden dowel, and I'm measuring up every 2 inches. I'm gluing one on, and I'm just gluing it on one side to start with. And as you see here, I'm just moving up every 2 inches and gluing another one on. And then reinforcing a little bit underneath and on the top of each one. And I'm continuing up the side here and then doing the same thing on this second piece. And then to create the second one, I just taped 2 more wooden dowels to the ladder that I already made. And this will show me exactly where to glue the ladder rungs. So I was able to do this one a lot faster. And then I untaped them, and I had 2 matching ladders. To finish these off, I'm just wrapping up the sides with this twine and covering up some of the glue and just giving it a cleaner look because there was a lot of glue around these rungs. And of course I did this 2 times and I had 2 ladders at the end. So we'll take a final look at all the pieces for the bathroom, the shower and the removable shower head, and the tub area, and the double sink vanity. And lastly, the toilet. So that is the end of that. So coming up next will be staging and showing the entire decorated house tour. So I hope you stick around. That will be the last video in this series. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.